Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at the technical analysis on Zilliqa and specifically to see what price action has been going on with ZIL most recently. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done out of the way, let's get into this TA on ZIL and see exactly what is going on. We're going to start with this weekly chart, guys. We are paired up with Tether. Binance is our data source. Now we can see that everything really kind of kick-started back here in March of 2020, and we had a reasonable good run to start with back in this first kind of stage, peaking out in about June, right, for wave 1. We had a good kind of sideways trade here for wave 2, not too bad. We kind of bottomed out in around September time, and then we started to see a nice slow and steady rise for wave 3. Wave 3 peaked out in May before we saw a correction within wave 4. This is quite, unnerving for many people in the space. We actually drew this down quite deeply, but ultimately wave 4 was very sharp because wave 2 was so flat. These two are always opposite each other. So if one is basically sharp, the other one will be flat, and if one is flat, the other one will be sharp, and so forth, right? So wave 2 and wave 4 are always opposites of each other. Now we do see a good push to the upside for wave 5. Things have kick-started here, as long as we do not go down any lower, but we'll get into the smaller time frames and take a look at what's going on there. We can see the stochastic during wave 1 was overbought, wave 3 was overbought, and we just entered the overbought area on wave 5. And what you can see here is oversold during wave 2, oversold during wave 4. So again, we can be up here for quite some time. We can track this thing for several months between each of these waves. So again, doesn't bother us that we're overbought. And right now on the weekly chart, this is something that can be sustained, as I said, for a couple of months or so as we go to the top of the bull run and kind of peak out. Now this fifth wave does actually go up to about 92 cents, I think it is, something like that. I'll have a look at it on the daily at the moment. So a good push to the upside, and I think that comes in at approximately 740% or so. Okay, so we've got about 740% more gains on the table here as we talk about going up to peak the bull run for Zilliqa here. So again, not too bad. If you're buying in all the way down in wave 1 or wave 2, was a pretty good opportunity. Now I've been invested in Zilliqa for a while. I've used a lot of the Zilliqa applications, be that for NFTs or their various other use cases. And it works incredibly well. So I do recommend people check out the use cases of these projects. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor. So do your own research if you've only just come across what Zilliqa is and what it is all about. But for me, I definitely do. It's one we had 𝗕𝗪𝗏 on the show as well to talk through everything ZIL. So if that's of interest to you, check that out on the channel. Just do a search for Zilliqa and you should come across all of our ZIL videos. And of course, the interview with 𝗕𝗪𝗏, where we do dive into a lot of things Zilliqa, so check that out. Let's jump down into our daily view, okay, and this is where we start to see a little bit more of the clarity on what's been going on most recently, right? So we can see that we had the top of wave 3 just up here, coming in at about 25 cents. If I just hover on that candle, it should tell us 25.6 cents. And then we'll saw the low during wave 4 correction coming in at 5 cents, okay, just down here. So that high and that low is what gives us our prediction of where we are heading in terms of 92.5 cents. Now, of course, we can expect maybe a wick or so to just move up towards the dollar level before getting rejected. And at least in my opinion, a dollar should be achievable here. I would have thought, even though if it was very briefly, for Zilliqa. That is, to me though, is a psychological barrier, and we would more than likely get rejected from there as it is above the 4.236 extension. So again, I'm mindful of that, but again, nice price targets to kind of look forward to as well. So again, nothing too unusual at this point. Right, cool. So let's take a look at what's been going on most recently, right? So we obviously saw the pullback, and we also saw this accumulation zone appear at the bottom here. This is the buy zone. We were only in here very, very briefly, right? And basically, this is identified from this wick here, and we're saying that in this zone, if we were to go lower than this is an opportunity before we go right back to the upside. So again, we're briefly in this area, not for too long, before we had a nice good push to the upside. Now you can find that the rejections coming in at the 382. We had the pullback from Bitcoin, courtesy of Bitcoin, I should say, and now we're starting to see the traction back to the upside. So initially on the bounce here, we were basically moving up to the overbought area on this daily chart. Again, something that was sustainable for quite some time, as we had already experienced. We had the pullback to the oversold area, push to the upside to the overbought area, Bitcoin took it all the way back down to oversold. So now we've got a nice growth period here on this daily chart to grow ZIL. And we can basically repeat the process of what we've seen already, but yet again push that up past that 786, which is another key area on the chart here for Zilliqa. So again, lots of things to kind of look forward to right there. Now, obviously the 618, the 702 and the 786, these areas up here, or this yellow box area, is absolutely key and is vital for us to kind of see a good position occur here for ZIL. So let me just get rid of that. And I will do is I'll just notice that this is a little bit out of kilter. Let me just pull that back into place and make sure that that stays where I want it. Right. So right now we can obviously see that this is a key area for us, right? We want to get that closed candle, preferably weekly close candle, just up on here, right? Getting that weekly close up there is a big bull signal, so that's what we're looking for. In terms of the targets, obviously that's going to be the main one, but we have got a little bit of resistance up here at the 50% retracement, and then a fair amount of hovering around that 618, 702, 786. So this is yellow box area is going to be a big battle for Zilliqa. It's going to take a while, I would have thought. I do not anticipate us just moving straight through it straight away. In fact, I would probably say that we're more likely going to kind of find this kind of scenario happen here, get rejected maybe, then eventually have everything line up towards the latter part of the year. I think the end of the bull run for Zilliqa is going to be very much like we've seen previously during this third wave, where we end up with a scenario that looks like this. And I think it's all going to kind of come to a bit of a close towards the end of the run once we get past this area here. But I do think this is going to be a big battle for ZIL, and moving past that 786 and moving past the previous high area of 25.7. So once we get past that though, that's where I see that real parabolic run occurring, and where we see that 740% kind of gains come into play. Now, when we actually jump down into our hourly view, this is where we start to see, you know, the level of sideways trading occurring. If we actually expand this up, we can see what happened with Bitcoin here and the pullback, right? We can see this pullback was quite significant, taking us down into the oversold area. And then obviously we're tracking, interestingly, back to the upside. Now, although a lot of people in the space worry that we're going into a bear market and all that kind of stuff, and I kind of try to provide some confidence in the space. We often talk about, setting lower lows or higher lows and things like this, right? And what you see here is a low getting set initially here from ZIL, right? And this is courtesy of Bitcoin's pullback. We then actually bounced up, we were rejected, and we pushed back down. Now, normally on this rejection that you see from here, we would actually go down to a lower low, right? That would be kind of the way it would normally kind of flow. Instead, you get the bounce from this scenario. We get rejected from that key area there, and we bounce down, and then we get set this new higher low just here, right? So we have a low and we have a higher low, and then we continue to push to the upside. We bounce down a little bit. We have set some higher highs on this journey, right? We see here, basically since setting this, we set a high, we set a higher high, higher high, higher high, and then we start to change the pattern again, and when we start coming down. But the key picture here is that we are setting these higher low areas still higher than the previous lows, right? And if that continues, then we should be on track to continue a good growth to the upside overall. We actually put the trend line in place here. We can see that there is a good trend line forming here between these anchor points, right? And this is a consistent point for us, right? So when we take a look at where we are on our stochastic, we are looking for a pullback, but the pullback could literally just be bouncing across this line and then continuing that movement to the upside. Overall, Zilliqa looks like it's performing really well, but it has got obviously a lot of areas of resistance coming up, right? So we are expecting volatility with this particular project, but when it does get going, Zilliqa absolutely flies, right? And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a good growth with ZIL, but I think it's going to come towards the latter part of the bull run, and I think we're going to spend the majority of the next couple of months really battling these resistant points. With that being said, the 740% gains for those people who are able to dollar cost average good positions and continue kind of being patient with it, they should pay off quite nicely. Hopefully, guys, you have found this brief update on Zilliqa useful and informative. If you have, then hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. And with that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.